Facebook Groups 101. All right, everybody. So today I'm super excited. Got a little training prep for you guys. Got a little bit of a video plan for you guys all about Facebook groups, like how to actually run a community. You know, the talk on the town is coming into 2024 that Facebook groups are dead, that you can't actually efficiently sell or convert clients from groups. And I would argue the opposite of that. In fact, we're actually doubling down on community growth and monetization coming into the new year. So I wanted to put together something for you guys and actually talk about what actually goes into running a community. I think a big thing is, especially on Facebook, you can come into a group. I feel like there's a correct way to actually run a community if you're going to convert clients, and there's a wrong way to run a community. You guys have probably all joined a group. The second you jump in, there's links being spammed everywhere. It's like a billboard for business. Everybody is just, hey, buy this thing. And that's not what I'm here to tell you guys how to do, especially if you're like an entrepreneur, influencer, or you're a content creator and you're actually looking to start converting clients from your group. There's a correct way to do it and there's an incorrect way to do it. And unless you're trying to create some spammy community, then, you know, this video might not be relevant to you if you are trying to do that. But that's the ultimate goal for today. Give you guys some strategy, give you guys some behind the scenes look at how we actually run our group. Right? Groups have been a massive part in our own business when it comes to going from a minimum wage job to selling over $1 million worth of products online. And communities are the exact catalyst that we give to our clients who've done pretty much twice as much as we have since putting together an offer actually around group growth and monetization. So that's the agenda for today. I'll stop rambling and let's dive right into it. Alrighty, so Facebook Groups 101, building a profitable community. Obviously, if you guys haven't picked it up from a lot of my content or what I just said in the last couple of minutes, I'm fucking huge on community growth. Communities as a whole, I genuinely believe that they are the missing element that a lot of people don't have in their business. And like, we genuinely believe in groups. Everything we talk about or everything I bring to you guys on this channel isn't some hypothetical BS or hyped up shit. This is what I'm actually doing in my business day in and day out. And as you guys will see in some of these examples, this is like actual pictures from my own group that I run, and I put content in every single day, and I have been putting content inside of for years. So number one, let's talk about what goes into building the community. The setup in the community, the structure itself. You actually have to create the group. You have to build the group. Now, I see a lot of people getting hung up on like the cover photos or the names. You can change these. So don't let having this perfected name or perfected cover photo hinder you from actually getting started or building out your group. I think I've changed this group name and my actual cover photo dozens and dozens of times. I literally just changed this. As I mentioned, we're coming into the new year and we're actually doing a bit of a rebrand. We're diving deeper into community growth and monetization, so you can change it. A good rule of thumbs would be like your name and a topic. So losing weight with Kate, right? I totally rhymed it. I didn't mean to, but it's a good real-time example of that. Something that is potential searchable when people are looking up groups, and you'll start populating in that searchable topic. Now, we're not big on like ranking for SEO in Facebook and trying to get a lot of search traffic. We're bigger on seeding the actual community growth, but you got to have a name and you got to have some type of cover photo. It doesn't have to be super polished. You could literally put a picture of you and your cat up there if you wanted to. Also depends on the niche or the industry that you're building the group, but that's part one of setup and the structure. You can set up a group. Very easy to actually create a group. Super easy to do. If you notice, I'm on Facebook right here. If you hit this little icon with all the little dots, the menus, you come down and you go to group. You can literally just set up your group just like that. Group name, etc., etc. This is where you put up the cover photo. I would recommend having on a private. The reason for this is it will help with the membership questions. It'll create like a inside and outside vibe. So if you have a group and you're building a Facebook group, and let's say you're talking about that stuff on your Facebook profile, you're talking about it on TikTok, you're talking about it somewhere else. If you have a private group, you're going to be able to create that divide and then incentivize people to get stuff when they come into your group because there's a reason behind it. So if I go drop a training in my group that not everybody has access to publicly, and I go start talking about it on my YouTube channel or on my Facebook profile or on my TikTok, I can then utilize the thing I put in my group as a lead magnet to actually grow my community. So have it as a private, good rule of thumb. So next up is your membership questions. These are pretty important. The reason you're doing these is potentially it gives you the ability to like get hand raisers, easy segue to start conversations with people when they're joining your group. And it also gives you the ability to build your email list in unison with actually growing your community. So these are a couple examples of of my own membership questions in my group. So number one is like a little market research question, seeing where people are at, like seeing where they're at when they're coming into my group in business. Obviously, this would be a little bit different if you're not like in the online space like me, or like consulting and helping people monetize socials, but getting an idea of where people are at, like what they're currently doing, what they're currently looking to do, etc. And then just like a mission statement, like this is a community for motivated beginners or seasoned business owners looking to leverage content creation, personal branding, and high ticket products to scale their business to 100K plus per year. Does this sound like where you're currently at? This is just trying to see if people are paying attention or seeing where people are at internally when they come into my group. Because if somebody answers yes, I want to simplify starting or cracking consistent $10,000 a month online, I'm going to send them a message. I'm going to send everybody a message that comes into my group, but it gives me the ability to pivot the conversation. If somebody answers no, they're probably a little bit further back on the spectrum. Maybe they're skeptical. Maybe they're a little bit nervous, which is understandable. You got some random dude trying to sell you a product on the internet. You should be skeptical. That's just logical. So it just gives you the ability to figure out where you need to go with the actual conversation. It gives you the ability to do market research, see where people are coming in. You can play around with these, change them as you go, use different ones depending on what you're actually doing in your business or what you're actually the goal of your group is. For example, if you're running like a dating community, where are you from? What city are you in? This is a community for single people only. Are you single? Yes or no? That way, if they answer no, you're like, okay, we probably don't want a bunch of married people in this dating group. And question 3, this is a big one, especially if you're planning on building your email list through groups, which I would highly encourage you guys to do. Email lists are crucial, very important to building a long-term business. And the cool part about growing your group, you can build your email list at the same exact time. And then you can also start utilizing emails to refuel the engagement in your group and seed people back into your actual group itself. If you guys have a question about how that actually works or what that looks like, be sure to hit the pinned video on my YouTube channel, because there's a breakdown of our entire business model and what I mean by that, by refueling your actual group with your emails. But so basically ask for the email and they will enter in their email, and then you can plug it into your email marketing tool of your choosing. You'll either have to do this manually or there is software out there, because Facebook doesn't actually integrate with these platforms, but it does give you the ability to do both at the same time. Next would be like your group is now you can potentially try to naturally stuff keywords here, searchable topics, so you can start showing up when people start looking for groups. That way, when they're like searching on Facebook, weight loss, keto, all these different things, your group could start to populate. But I wouldn't get too hung up on this, because we're bigger advocates on seeding the group growth with some type of other platform, seeding it with, say, like short form videos or your profile or inviting your friends and stuff like that. That's all a kind of more effective way to actually grow the group than just waiting for it to start ranking, because it can be slow and eventually it will start to tick over new members, but it's not going to really happen overnight and it's not going to be like as effective as possible. So this is an example of a group description, just talking about what your community is for, who it's for, what you're utilizing the group for, who you help, why did you actually create this group, and what is the point of it. This will populate when people try to join your group and they're not inside. This is what will actually show up. So you want to let people know what it's for. What are they going to actually get when they join your group? We have to look at it from a consumer's perspective. Everybody's inadvertently a little bit selfish. So you have to make it about them. You have to make joining the group about them, what they are actually going to get from joining your group. If you have lead magnets, you have incentives, you have posts, give them something, incentivize them to actually come join, and you'll probably get a lot better results from, say, your description, because they're actually getting something from joining the community versus, hey, come join my group. The first question they're going to ask themselves internally is like, why should I join that group? So a couple good rule of thumbs, and I will drop this doc below the video if you guys want it. You guys can have this and run through it, look at it. Number 2 would be a welcome post, creating a static welcome post that lets the brand new members know who are coming into your group, know about your community. What is this place for? What can they expect to get? What type of content are you going to be dropping in here? What are the actual goals and objectives of this community? Now, a cool little pro tip that you guys can do is add a couple action steps for people to do inside of the community. So an example, drop a post in the group. Let everyone know where you're from. You're building a culture and a group of people, so engage with them. You're not building this community to just be like a billboard of you and the Nate show or anything like that. You want to incentivize these people and your members to actually become a part of this community, be a part of the group, like actually be a part of something, because that's what actually will set you guys free, especially in the long term. People buy into movements, people buy into actual cultures and communities and stuff. If you look at like designer brands, a lot of the times it's because there's like a movement behind it or a type of culture that is attached to being a part of buying those products. So this is what I talk about a lot when it's like, if you're looking to sell more products, one way that you can start instantly increasing the value of what you sell is by adding a community aspect to it. Because everybody wants to be a part of something. Nobody likes to sit at their home alone all the time, and like they want to be a part of that. That's a thing. We all want to be a part of something. So your welcome post just gives you a ability to have a static post in your group that lets people know, like, what can they expect from your group? What are you going to be talking about? What types of tactics are you going to be breaking down? Are you going to be shedding light on dieting tips, tricks? Share more of your story. Who are you? Like, why did you build this group? What is the reason for you actually doing this? And just in general, give the people that are coming in the overall agenda of the group. You can also include some rules here. Hey, don't spam links and etc. You don't want to. If you want to, sorry. And that's the lay of the land for the group. An example of this and what that would actually look like is your welcome post ends up getting pinned here. So this is an event for a training we're running, so ignore that. But this is an example of like my welcome post, static welcome post. If you notice, it has 1,600 comments on it right now. So an example of this is right, they come into my group and I hit them in the face with this. What is this group for? Who it's for? Right? Like how you can get the most out of this community. Telling people that like I'm just a regular guy who figured out how to sell some products online, and I genuinely want to help you do the same without going through all the mistakes I made and like causing a divide in my audience. We're not here to tell you you're going to make $1 million overnight, but instead build a sustainable business that will set you free when you fucking work for it. Examples, right? I'm not about feeding people hot garbage in the promise of padding my pockets. It will not be easy. It will very rarely happen extremely quick because I don't actually believe those things. It can happen quick and it can be very simple, but it's not going to happen overnight. And then I'm giving them some steps to follow. Jump into our free workshop. We hosted a free workshop that breaks down how our clients did $1.6 million in the last 16 months. And I'm just giving them some to-dos, giving them some fast action steps and things to actually do when they join the group. So that's an example of that. And it will change. I had the same welcome post for 3 years now, maybe a little bit longer. And I've changed it from time to time. My business wasn't always where it was. So this hasn't been the exact same welcome post. I've just changed it as I've changed, as I've evolved. Now on to the guide section. Probably one of the most powerful but slept on aspects of actually having a group and building a community of your own, because you can basically end up building a masterclass or an encapsulated energy source that kind of works for you and starts closing sales for you on autopilot. Now we're not big on passive income and like you post a piece of content, you're never gonna have to work again. That's not what I'm saying. But having dedicated things in your guide section in your group can really start to change everything about your business, especially if you're calculated with what you're putting in there and you create some intention of what you're actually putting in the guide section before you put it in there, because you can really utilize it to start working for you. If I'm getting the same exact questions from my audience, I'm getting the exact same questions over and over again, I'm going to make it a point to go create a training or create a 5 to 10 minute video, and I'm going to put it inside of my guide section. And then every time somebody asks me that exact same question, I'm going to send them that video in my guides. I get to create more time back in my business, but I also get to continue to provide value and answer the people's questions that are actually asking. The reason this also gives you the ability to like have an angle to pull on. So for example, we talk about our free workshop all of the time, and how people can get our free workshop which breaks down the business model that we've handed to our clients who've done over $1 million since working with us. It's probably closer to 2, but this is exactly what we're talking about. This is the free workshop right here. And we're sending people from our traffic sources, our content creation, and we're sending them to these trainings in our group. Right? Now sales are coming off of the back end of these very regularly because we're giving a lot of value, which will obviously change and evolve as your business grows. I'm not saying you guys have to go in there and go extremely hard on creating these trainings if you've never done them before, but it's a good thing to think about, and putting these into your group as you grow your group are extremely powerful. They're like little micro pieces of work that you can put in one time and they'll continue to work for you. Quick example, this gives the members, gives them the ability to come in and like get up to speed with who you are, what you do, how you help people, and what types of things you sell. So I wanted to give you guys a little quick real-time example of what this would look like. But I wanted to make an example outside of the online business space. So say I'm a fitness coach who helps people lose weight with keto. The things that I would put in my guides, like what is keto? What can you eat? What can't you eat? What are some examples of foods, tips, tricks, diets, meal plans, all different types of things to stay in ketosis. Next would be like how much weight I've lost since doing this, before and after. What else changed besides the waistline, right? Think like mental health, energy, all those other things that people actually want from dieting. Who I've helped with this, or who the product you're selling has helped. This is an example of like an affiliate, and people are like, oh, I don't have any clients. Well, you can start pulling on other stories and other examples of other people that it's worked for. So-and-so's in keto. My friend, my sister, my brother, they got on keto too, and this is what happened to their life. This is what happened to their diet. This is what happened to their waistline. All right, see what I'm saying? And then lastly, my offer. Invite to chat about the thing that I'm selling. Selling isn't a bad thing. Selling's not a dirty thing. Obviously, if you want to have success and like sell products online, you got to sell something. And a lot of the times we're nervous to ask, especially in the earlier stages. So I would create something static that talks about, hey, I have this thing, about your product. But if you do notice on a deeper level, all of these, none of them have anything to do about what you're selling, except for the last one. There's a reason for that, which I'll dive deeper on later on in the video. Number 4, content. This is by far the most important part, and I will challenge everyone in here, or everyone that's watching this video, start treating their group as a journal. It doesn't always have to be product focused, and I would honestly encourage it not to be product focused, because it's going to be extremely hard to not drain your audience or burn people out that come into your group if it's just product. As I was mentioning in the beginning of this video, nobody likes jumping into a group and it's just a billboard. It's just spammed links. It's just checkout links. Right? You're not going to buy. And if you do trickle some sales, it's going to be very inconsistent. So mix your content strategy between live videos, pre-recorded videos. Very intimidating task if you haven't done it, but I will tell you it will do an extremely good job at building relationships with the people that come into your group, which is the key ingredient to selling products. A relationship. You have to form some type of relationship with the audience. And we work with actual people who own e-com stores and like e-commerce brands, and things that we talk about to them is like embedding yourself into that business versus just becoming a product. Now, unless you're like, this isn't necessarily relevant if you're like trying to build a business to sell a business. Say I'm trying to build an e-commerce store so I can sell it in 5 years. But if you're trying to build an e-commerce business and a brand, I would honestly encourage the majority of people to embed them into it. What are your experiences with said product, and how has it helped you? What has changed, etc.? Because that's what's going to encourage other people to want to buy when they actually see it working for you. Not just like, you can buy this cool product, so buy it. Why would they want to buy it? And this kind of goes par for the course too. You have to think about it on a little bit of a deeper level. If you're seeding your group with content creation, they're coming in because of a connection that was built with you, likely through some type of content. And when they come in and then all of a sudden it's a completely different content style, if it's just about the product, whereas like your external content was about you and your story, it's going to feel like you pulled the wool on them. You're going to want to dive deeper in your group. Written posts, photos, color block posts. And there's no magic bullet for what type of content actually works. It is constantly changing and evolving based on your actual goals, which will also evolve. And the reason I mention that is I don't want to give you guys some like blanket statement, like, go create this type of content and it's going to make you a bunch of money, because I don't know that. Content that works for me might not work for you, and content that works for you might not work for me. You have to be willing to test different content styles, different angles, different nuances, different outcomes for people, because that's the name of the game. Your audience is going to respond, or your community members are going to respond differently than mine, because they're different people. Content as a whole, though, is meant to do a few different things. Capture the attention. Obviously, without attention, you can't create the opportunity to sell products without getting the attention. Now, you don't need a lot of attention. That's a big myth. People think you need millions and millions of followers and hundreds of comments. And the majority of the time, the people that say that have never actually been viral, because that shit is stressful. Waking up to 1,000 people requesting to join your group is not fun. And I'm saying that from experience. Accelerate the relationships with people and shrink the sales process. Reduce the resistance when it comes to selling your offers. The more content people consume from you, the easier it is to actually sell them products. There will be less resistance over time, because they get to know you. They get to know who you are, what you do, how you help people. If they want to do this thing, right? Product doesn't have to be for everybody. Give more than it takes. You need to give in order to sell. Expecting people to buy without providing value is like trying to withdraw money from a bank that has $0 in it. That's a good analogy for that. You need to give, especially in this online economy. If you actually want people to consistently buy products from you, you need to give stuff. And I'm not saying go give them your products for free, but you need to give them some type of thing. Give them some type of connection value, which you got to get kind of creative. If you're in like the e-commerce space, let's say you're selling t-shirts, right? It's a little bit of a different marketing tactic from that angle. Build the relationship beyond the product. Let's say you own a t-shirt company and you started this t-shirt company because you want to donate $100,000 to a charity. Something you need to talk about in your content because that's an inspiring thing for the audience to hear versus just like, hey, look at this cool t-shirt, go buy it. Okay, now people feel like they're being a part of something because now they can go buy this t-shirt, which then helps this charity. And now you get what I'm saying, they're becoming a part of this thing beyond just like getting a new shirt. Make sense? Okay. Shed light, deeper level as to who you are, what you do, how you help people, and where you're planning on going. I probably said that like 5 times, so I apologize. Aim for a 1-to-4 ask ratio inside of your group, meaning 3 of the 4 pieces of content you're creating in your group isn't about people buying anything. It's a paradox, right? I'm trying to tell you guys how to actually build a profitable community, but I'm telling you to create less content about buying shit from you. And that's because people get in a habit of like, it's very easy to want to sell products online, and it's very easy to get into a habit of like, hey, I have this thing, are you ready to buy it? Hey, I have this thing, are you ready to buy it? And the longer that you do that, the more demand it's putting on your audience, and they're going to start ignoring you because it's just going to come across like all this person wants to do is sell me something. Not like, hey, this person potentially wants to build a connection with me. And like, so that's kind of the rule of thumb, a 1-to-4 ask ratio. So if you're posting 4 pieces of content a week, 1 of them would be about potentially having your offer in their hands, about them buying something from you. Now, note this does not mean you stop selling products in the DMs or you stop selling products in like your email list. Just from a public surface level, you need to have a balance of giving some form of value, building some type of connection, shedding light on your personality, who you are, what you do, etc. And then mixing in, hey, I have this cool thing that you can get over here. It can't just be buy. Because the longer that you do that and the more that you do that, it's actually going to start repelling people to buy products from you. A good way to look at it is like a bucket of water. This is an analogy we make all the time, is where we can look at our audience like a bucket of water. We can look at your audience like that. And every time you're publicly asking them to purchase a product from you, it is starting to drain some of that water. And what happens over time is people continuously shout, hey, I have this thing to sell, and they're trying to withdraw water from this empty bucket where you need to replenish the water inside of the bucket by giving value, by giving to your audience. A good example of like this is like, look at Alex Hormozi. Everything he does is always high value, and when he does make offers, they blow up like wildfire because he's built all of this proof of concept. He's built all of this value for his audience. It's not just constantly, hey, I have this thing to sell you, I want you to buy it. And it ends up coming like people can smell that shit. Right? You're creating the content from, hey, I'm just creating this to just give you just enough value so you buy my product. Start creating and giving things to people with no expectations. It will come back. It will come back tenfold. 2 examples of content, just a quick run through example, different content styles. Right? This is what I meant by like a written post. It's just like a silly, why am I not crying? You're crying. Why are you crying? It's about a testimonial from somebody that left us. And this is just like a color block post, getting comments. And then I'm talking to them, and that's where I'm selling them products. All in all, get your community in place and make it a point to document everything you're doing in your life and your business for the next 6 months, because the real power in monetizing a community lies in the longer that you've been actively showing up inside of it. And the reason for this is because it becomes a really inspiring journey for people to just come along and follow you. So using the keto example from above, person X starts doing keto, they build a group. Now, if they documented the entire journey of them losing weight, talking about the diet, what they're actually doing as they're doing it, the people that came into their group when they just started or as they were going along this journey of like losing weight and being on keto, naturally those people are going to want to start doing the same. Now, who do you think they're going to want to go and learn how to get on keto from? Just watch this person lose weight over 90 days and they just watch them transform their life over 90 days. That's going to be one of the people that they're like, okay, I want to go talk to so-and-so about that. I want to get on the same meal plan that she was on. Now, you literally just turned you doing something in your life and created an opportunity to sell a product to somebody, simply showing up and talking about what you're doing. This is exactly how we've done over $1 million in product sales in our own groups in the last couple of years, by simply treating our groups as digital journals and documenting everything we're doing in our business, and then extending invitations for people to work with us off the tail end of our content. And if they don't, or if they're not like ready or comfortable with working with us, then we usually just refunnel them back into the community and the group. So two prongs approach to that: posting content and shedding light on what we're doing. And then 2, chatting with the members in the DMs and inviting people to buy our products. Very simple process, very simple model. If you guys want a full video on the actual model we run and the exact 4-step framework that we've handed to our clients that have done just over $1.6 million in track sales with dozens of different products, offers, communities of their own. Be sure to hit the pinned video on my channel. I think there's a 60-minute training over there that kind of breaks down our entire business model and how you can actually deploy it yourself. And that's all I got for you guys today. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to drop them in the comments. Get out there, get your community set up, start putting content in it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.